What's going on, friends? I hope you're doing great and thank you for tuning into my video. What's rolling right here is some Battlefield 1 operations on the map St. Quentin Scar, and I'm playing as support here in the beginning. I do get a land ship a bit later though, as you'll see. I'm not gonna lie, this was a pretty crazy match. My team was getting absolutely swept away. I remember in the beginning I was like, yeah, there's no way this team is going to survive 3 waves, but somehow we started to fight back. All I'm saying is when I got in the tank, the match seemed to take a turn. In this video, I'm going to be discussing my thoughts on the announcement of Battlefield 2042. I wouldn't say it's going to be what I like and dislike. It's going to be more about things that seem interesting and things that I am a little concerned about. If you didn't see it, I made a video shortly after the announcement with some extra information that you couldn't get from just the trailer itself. So with that being said, I'll be referencing most of what I covered in that video, along with a little new information that's been put out since then. The official first look at the gameplay for BF 2042 dropped on June 13th. So just like my last video, if you haven't seen that trailer, I'd highly recommend checking that out first, then coming back here. You already know where to find the link if you need it. So my last video was supposed to be pretty much purely informational. I intentionally left out any bias or opinions because I wanted it to just be about the announcement. That's it. So I'm glad with this video I can kind of share how I'm feeling. I actually watched the trailer the second it was released during E3. I was hanging out with a certain someone. If you're watching this, you know what's up. We just got back from grabbing some food, and before I left, I was like, yo, we gotta hurry up and get back because the trailer was showing at like, I think 12 or 12:30, something like that. So we get back and we watch all the extra fluff that comes beforehand, and then it happens. So I can tell you right now, my first and natural reaction was excitement. I was legit excited to see what the gameplay was about. I swear to you, not a minute into the video, I was almost standing up in my seat, and I have someone to vouch for me on that one. I was and still am hyped after seeing that trailer. If you know me well, my stance on game releases has changed over the years. I used to pre-order games the second I could, pretty much without a single doubt. I like to think that it's not just me that has changed in that aspect. It's the games themselves that have caused me to become a lot more apprehensive to new releases. So for me to have that kind of reaction to a gameplay reveal is saying something. Let's not make it complicated. Bottom line, I thought the gameplay reveal was absolutely amazing. It looked like Battlefield. It looked like the Battlefield I've been wanting since BF1. So the only new information that I found to be significant is that there are now going to be bots in lobbies to fill up empty space. Now this has been confirmed by developers. They said that bots can be used in private sessions to practice, things like that, and they will definitely be in live multiplayer. One can only assume that these bot players will be replaced by real players once more people join into the server. I'm personally assuming that this is a reaction to the fact that there will be up to 128 players on PC and next gen. But that does leave me wondering several things, like how will that affect last gen? Are they gonna do bots too? More importantly, overall, I just feel like this isn't the best idea ever. I'm not saying it won't work, but it just doesn't sound amazing. First of all, we know that an NPC isn't really a great equivalent to a real player, and this can go both ways. What if the bots are complete morons? What if they're like some kind of aimbot hacker god and can see you through walls all the way across the map? To me, it's a very dangerous territory, and unless these bots are gonna have some kind of scalable skill level, I have a hard time imagining how it's gonna work. What if your team really needs a jet pilot or a tanker or a helicopter pilot to move forward on the map. Are these bots gonna take on that role? If they do, it's a little scary to imagine how they're gonna interact with the real players on the map. While I understand that it could be a disaster having an unbalanced lobby with up to 128 players, I feel like more traditional approaches would work just as well here as having NPCs in live multiplayer. You know, things like making sure the game has enough people on both sides before starting, auto balancing, maybe adding consequences for players who just up and leave the game when things aren't going their way. Point being, there's a lot of factors that could go into this, so we'll just have to wait for more information about how it'll work. But until then, I'm not the biggest fan of this idea. I personally find the theme and setting of BF 2042 to be great. I've been wanting a modern or modern-ish game since Battlefield 1. Not to get off topic, but I think one of the worst things they could have done was go from World War I to World War II like they did in 2018, especially after Call of Duty had just released their own historic shooter after Battlefield 1. Like, who thought that was a good idea? The time period and theme for this game does get a thumbs up from me. If you watched my previous video, I did mention that BF 2042 will have no campaign. I'm not going to get into extreme detail on my take on this because I did make a video talking about the same thing previously. Shameless plug, if you haven't seen it, you can check it out. But in a nutshell, I prefer multiplayer heavy games to have campaigns, and that rhymed. EA's idea is to tell this game's story through the multiplayer itself. I guess that's a decent compromise. However, that all depends on how exactly they execute that. In my opinion, the idea legitimately sounds cool. It sounds like it has a lot of potential to do something new and innovative, which if you've watched me for a while, you know that's what I look for in new releases. But ultimately, it's going to be up to them to deliver on that. On the topic of multiplayer, which is mostly what Battlefield is about, I honestly have little to no reservations on how it looks. It looks like it'll be a lot of fun. I'm excited about the addition of more players to a match. To me, the more the merrier. The more chaos equals more fun, especially on these huge maps that they say they've built. As far as the multiplayer modes go, I'm a little indifferent. I'm sure they'll be fine. I've never really had an issue with their game modes. I do think, however, that they should capitalize on their more popular ones from the past. If they bring back modes like Rush, Operations, and War Pigeons, they would instantly get a lot more respect from me. Now for one of the biggest changes that they've made to the series, the removal of classes and the introduction of specialists. When I first heard about this, I was pretty apprehensive, but with more information, I've concluded that it still has the chance, keyword there being chance, to be just as fun. If you missed my last video, each of these new specialists will carry one of the traditional roles of medic, engineer, recon, or support. I guess it's a breath of fresh air, and just like their new approach to campaigns, it has plenty of potential, but it's critical that they hit the nail on the head with this. Aside from that, another serious concern about having all these different specialists running around is balance. They're gonna have to make sure that none of these specialists become some kind of meta with their individual abilities. I'm also interested to see if they'll make some kind of limit on how many people can be one specialist at a time. If they can pull this whole thing off though, they legitimately have my respect. If you know anything about me and Battlefield, you know that vehicles are one of my favorite things ever, and it's probably pretty apparent from what you're seeing right now. Yeah, I'm tooting my own horn a bit here, but I was a menace in Battlefield 4 when it came to vehicles, in no short part thanks to my old crew, shout out if you're watching, but thankfully vehicles seem to be in no short supply or focus when it comes to BF 2042. One bit of info that I did leave out from my last video is that devs wanted to uplift the teamwork mechanics when it comes to vehicles. For example, for the tanks, they took inspiration from Battlefield 3, where you could have a spotter ride with you and help designate targets, that kind of thing. That alone is a big plus from me. This being a modern-ish title, it's the first time that helicopters are back since Battlefield 4. Once again, a huge plus, and I'm looking forward to seeing what else they can come up with to make vehicles an even more important part of the game.
We interrupt this program to bring you
a special announcement. I just wanted to take a few more seconds of your time to say thank you for watching my content. I might not say it as much as I should, but it really means more to me than you know. In fact, if you're the first person to see this announcement, you just earn yourself a $15 Amazon gift card. All you have to do is enter this code. If you click the link in the description, it'll take you right to where you need to go. Once again, thanks for the support, and leave me a comment if you manage to snag it. Alright, now back to the video. All in all, I gotta say, as of right now, I have much more hope and faith in this game than whatever the opposite of those two things are. This is only the tip of the iceberg. There's more information out there on the horizon, only time will tell. If you like to check things out from the source itself, on July 22nd, EA Play Live will feature more of that information regarding Battlefield 2042. What about you? How do you feel about everything we've discovered so far about this game? I'd like to see your thoughts, hopes, or maybe concerns in the comment section below. If you enjoy my own take and the operations gameplay, leaving a thumbs up will let me know and help this video get out to other awesome people like yourself. To see more of my content, make sure you've hit that subscribe button with the bell icon, which will let you know when I upload again. Thank you for watching, and hope you come back sometime.
Jar full of secrets that only